This was Netflix back in 2011. I had been teaching the lab for, I guess, about a year. And we would buy call options on Netflix, and there were people in class who were like, oh my God, I can't believe you're buying options on a stock that trades at 150 times forward earnings, doesn't have any, and there's no money in this, and the subscriptions are terrible, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, the chart says it's bullish, right? Then stock moved up to around $300 a share. This was right around $300 a share. Whitney Tilson, who runs a big hedge fund, very successful trader, he had shorted this stock, right? He shorted it all the way up to 300. I mean, it just kept going against him. Finally couldn't stand it anymore. He's losing his, and has reached a point where he's reached his loss limit. He says, okay, well, I'm out. He got out there. I mean, like nailed it, like the very tippy top. Those of you who have been in the lab for, since 2011, you remember this because I was like, man, the guy's pretty good. He smoked it right at the top. Mostly just because I want you guys to know it's not just us, right? Even the big boys, even the pros struggle with this stuff. So stock is up here at the top, and at that point we started noticing, we said, wait a minute, we're putting in a high, putting in a new higher high, and then we had a little bit of a high here and then another lower high here, sitting right at the 200 moving average. Now, of course, this is split adjusted, right? So keep that in mind. But play this forward and check out what happens. Okay, really, really valuable lesson there on how powerful the head and shoulders type patterns can be. And here was the key to this, and the reason that I love teaching this one is the following. You had, in this trend, a number of different opportunities where you had a high and a low, a high and a low, high and a low, a 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 similar high, still higher lows, managed to break out a couple times here, higher highs and higher lows. This is, I am sure, something that Marquet is going to be covering when she talks about the structure of a trend. This was higher highs and higher lows holding at support. The key here really to identifying that head and shoulders reversal pattern is recognizing when you don't have a higher high, right? We're higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Right in here, I started to become a little suspicious. I was like, wait a minute, something might be up. No, we put in a higher high and we put in a higher low. Okay, we're okay. The trend is still in place. Higher high, higher low. Yep, we're still in higher high. Awesome. Wait a minute. What's going on? I mean, we can't even seem to find a bottom here, and we finally turn the corner here. Well, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out that this one right here was lower than this one right here. Low, low. Wait, something's going on. Something's changed. The trend is changing. We put in a high. Hey, the best we can do is come up with that? Are you kidding me? We were up here. Now this is it? This is all we can do. The trend has changed. The structure of the trend has changed. The fundamentals internally have changed. The buying pressure has changed. The trend has turned. This was such an awesome lesson that I think I'm going to put it in my class. That trend changed. Structurally, it was different. Okay? So being able to identify where we're seeing some of these bigger patterns, right? What are we looking at? What's happening in the pattern? And putting it in context. As I look at these things, guys, I start, kind of formulating in my mind, what are the choices? What are the alternatives? we're putting in higher highs and higher lows, and then we have this big, deep, ugly sell-off right here, right? So there's this trough right here, and then we come in and we put in a high, and now we seem to be struggling, right? What's one possibility? One possibility is that we come back down here, somewhere around here, rally, and then fail, in which case we would have a head and shoulders pattern. So I'm watching Starbucks, and the trend seems to be breaking down. Right? I kind of got to look at this with what's called soft eyes. I don't want to sharpen my pencil too much. I want to color with crayons here, but pretty clear to see that Starbucks has had an awesome trend. Right? We played this, but now the trend is starting to unravel. It's starting to come apart. It's starting to change. The character of the trend is changing. We come in, we put in a high, we put in a low, we put in a new high, we put in a higher low, we come in, put on a higher high, and oh wait, crap, that was lower than the previous low. And then we came in here and I was like, I think this thing's getting ready to go, right? Then we rallied to new highs. Okay, well, we're okay. Well, now maybe not so much. Now a breakdown, a little bit of a downtrend here to around the 200 moving average with a bounce higher. As long as that bounce does not take us above $64 a share, then we have effectively created a long-term head and shoulders reversal pattern. So Julie, to answer your question, how long a trend do we need to see before it is a legit reversal pattern? I want to see, generally speaking, that the prevailing trend was at least as big as the head and shoulders pattern is, at least as big, preferably more so, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Okay. Neckline here, top here, 2120 down to, let's call it 1880. What are we looking at? 140 points. Okay. The prevailing trend before that was 1100-ish to 1900. The longer a head and shoulders type pattern takes to develop, the more powerful the pattern is. Bruce brought up a point that we have oftentimes used the distance from the top of the head down to the neckline to determine how far the market is likely to fall on a sell-off of the head and shoulders pattern. And for that reason, I like to see that the prevailing trend leading into a head and shoulders pattern was at least as big as the depth of the head and shoulders pattern. Understand also that that means that the deeper the head and shoulders pattern is, the greater the retracement or correction out of the head and shoulders pattern, right? The greater the, because if we've got, a shallow little head and shoulders pattern, doop, 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 that's it. Well, from here to here is, the equivalent of from here to here. Well, there's your sell-off, right? So then you come down here and you go, doop, 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 doop. All right, so is this a legit? Yeah, you're going to have some of that.